Hello, everybody, and welcome into my latest live broadcast. It's Wednesday, the 28th of June, 2023. My name is CareyHolzman. Thanks you guys so much for hopping in today for today's live review video. We've got something a little different set up for today. There's been some discussion in the chat room as I've been reviewing the mini PCs that, hey, these things are just like laptops. And I'm usually very quick to remind you that they're nothing at all like laptops. They don't have a battery, they don't have a screen, they don't have a keyboard, they don't have a mouse, they don't have a webcam, they don't have a microphone, they don't have speakers. That's a lot they don't have. So what's left that you find similar to a laptop? It has a motherboard, a CPU, and a processor. A RAM and storage. Okay, but so does a desktop. So it's just like a desktop more than it's just like a laptop. Because with a desktop, you have to add RAM, you have to add a keyboard, mouse, monitor, speakers, webcam. See what I'm saying? It's far closer to a desktop. It's got way more in common with a desktop than it has with a laptop. But words are words. And this is a mini PC laptop. Yeah, I said it. This is from our folks at AceMagician, sometimes called AceMagicians, and sometimes called AceMagic. That's what they're calling themselves here. Not quite sure about the Chinese culture and how that all affects the products, but AceMagic, AceMagician, AceMagicians, and even Camrui, all the same company. Might even be other names they operate under. I don't know. I'm not holding it against them. Different culture, fine. Just in case you were wondering, yes, same company. AceMagic is one word here, so it actually says ACEMAGIC, but that's okay. Thank you for the contributions. Prior to the show, we got a few people contributing in Super Chat. I want to shout out and thank you to those viewers generous enough to contribute during today's broadcast, or in this case, before the broadcast even began. So many of you in there eager for the show to start. Let's see, we've got Paul O'Brien with a €2 contribution. Said, here's for a peanut butter sandwich. There's a joke in there. I don't, just put right over my head. I like a peanut butter sandwich. Paul O'Brien says, oh man, chat room's moving so fast. I just purchased 2 Windows Pro keys using your link for my new PC I'm building just after Prime Day. So you're building one computer and you bought 2 keys? Well, I'm sure they'll work great for you. Thank you for supporting the channel as always, Paul. Oh, Paul continues, I bought the ASRock DJ mixer with the Feijing 2TB NVMe drive, an i5 13500 and Kadaire's PD. You see, man, you were doing so well until you got to the hot dog case, but that's all right. At least your hot dog will be made of very gourmet ingredients. You got yourself a gourmet hot dog, Paul. Well done. Good luck with. I hope you stocked up on the Band-Aids and the Bactine. Working on that Kadaire's case, and I hope you don't mind paint chips and flimsy cases that kind of wobble and have no cable management. But hey, they look really cool, and that's all that's important. I'm just teasing you, my friend. It's all good. Enjoy your build. At least the main parts that matter are all top shelf. Good job. Oh, scrolling. Paul O'Brien said, I'm looking forward to seeing tonight's stream. This laptop looks very interesting. Oh, it's the beginning of an avalanche of these, I imagine. I have a strong feeling in the force. This is just the first of what's to come. Scrolling. What else have I missed here? Planet Cryos contributes $2. He says, hey, you. Our friend Rick Lakes in Minnesota with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Rick. Sarge Tech contributes $3 in super chat. Thank you, Sarge Tech. Mark Gaines joining us from Northern Ireland with a £10 contribution. Says hello, Carey, Marlena, and everyone in the chat. Camera Girl is not here today, but hopefully will be with us again here by the end of the week. Ben Laird joining us from Scotland with a £5 contribution. Douglas Burchell with a $2 contribution. Thank you, Douglas. Mike Visions contributes £2. Right on. Thank you, Mike Visions. You guys are what makes this show possible. The content that I provide, a lot of it is just simply purchased from Amazon. I had a company reach out to me. They said, would you review our router? I won't name the company, but they're not a name brand we're familiar with. Okay. Maybe in India or somewhere they're more popular. And I said, well, I looked at the Amazon reviews and thought, I'll review it. But I'm going to be a tough guy to impress now that I have the Wi-Fi 7 TP-Link B800. This thing's going to be a tinker toy. But for what it is, maybe it'll be good, maybe not. I don't know. I'll take a look at it. Sure. They said, okay, if we send it to you, will you promise to make your video on July the 10th? No, I won't. If you'd like to reserve July the 10th, we can do that for a fee. And they said, well, how much would the fee be? I said, it's about $20 per 1,000 subscribers. A lot of money. And they said, well, we'll give you 1% of that. I said, it's really been nice talking to you. I wish you the best of luck with your product. We'll just cancel this project. So they went from being offered a free review, send me the product, I'll review it. So then they got greedy. They wanted to pick a specific day they wanted that review done. No, you're not getting that for free. And it's a Monday anyway, where I don't do videos on Mondays. And if they knew anything at all about this channel, they would understand that you wouldn't want to be broadcast on a Monday because you'd get the least amount of viewers of any of my shows because those are for members only. If you're asking me to make a second video, you're definitely going to pay for that. You got to pay for all the production costs involved in that. And it's very insulting that I've been building this up for 15 years. And they said something like, yeah, but your videos are getting this many views. So based on that many views, we're offering you this much money. And I'm like, okay, so when we get that many views, I take your video down. You do understand that the video stays up in perpetuity and the view numbers only go up. And anytime it can spike. So if you're paying for the number of views, how much per view are you willing to pay? And when we hit that number of views, your video comes down. That's the way you want to do this? Oh, no, that's not what we're saying at all. Well, that is what you're saying. If you want to pay for the views, what you're telling me is you want to pay for the views the video gets within a certain number of days, and then you want all the views that come after that into perpetuity for free. It's a worldwide audience that's highly targeted to your product. It's not like you're advertising on television or the radio where your audience may not be interested. We have a very interested audience. And those that are watching the video that you're complaining about, that the watch numbers compared to the subscriber numbers is low, is because not all subscribers are going to be interested in what you have to sell. That's not on me. So I gave these guys the riot act, and they'll either come back on their hands and knees asking for forgiveness, or I'll never hear from them again. And either way, I'm good with either outcome because I didn't really want to review the product anyway. What a complete waste of my time. So insulting. Let me take this thing you've been working on for the last 15 years. You've cultivated and grew organically. And let me just spit in a bucket and offer it to you in exchange. That's fair. Insulting. All right. I think I need to have Camera Girl handle these negotiations. She's a lot nicer than me. She's more politically correct, but this isn't a company I could take them or leave them. I really don't care. The only reason I responded to them is they caught me in a good mood. Their previous requests I've ignored. They keep emailing me. Fine, I'm responding, and then they insult me by suggesting the value of what I'm doing doesn't even add up to the contributions I've received during this video. It's very shocking, but I guess they find people they can take advantage of who are just starting out, and they think it's something, I'll take it. Something's better than nothing. And then that begins your slow descent into getting angry and resentful as now you've set a precedent for what you're worth. Better to say no and hold out. That's your lesson if you want to be a content creator. Know your value. Don't let somebody else tell you your value. They can walk. All right. Hello, Rajdi, Alej DePej, Les Stevenson. Hello to Chris Smith and Bruce Lucas. Hello to William Dawson. Hello to Barbie Warren. Ray Sudbury. Welcome in, guys. All these familiar names and friends in blue. Jonathan and Gary Tatum. Elmer Fudd. Frank O'Shields. Bobby Warren. Jose Casimiro. Jim KJ3. And, you know, Jim, I was looking at your channel. I didn't realize you had a YouTube channel. And you actually put yourself on camera. You're very comfortable on camera. And you're not just a pair of talking hands. And you go through the tech stuff and explain it. You do a very, very good job. I don't know why you don't have more views. And maybe if you're interested in reviewing, I don't know, maybe this laptop or something when we're done with it, if you'll make a video that you normally make your way and you're interested, reach out to me, and I'm sure the sponsor wouldn't mind getting an extra review out of it, and you get a video out of it. Or one of the mini PCs. I don't know. I was impressed. And the fact that you put yourself out there, a lot of people won't do it. The fact that you do, much respect to you. Sorry I hadn't seen your content earlier. You do a very good job. Guys, check out Jim KJ3N's YouTube channel. Show him love. Subscribe. Give him a thumbs up. Videos are good. Larry G says, hello, Carey, from a very smoke-filled Michigan. Hello to all the members in chat. Hello to Camera Girl if you're there today. Shamim Kajvera says, I am taking a walk and watching the show. It's still sunny here at 10:05 in the evening in Sweden. It's sunny at 10 o'clock at night. Scotty says, hello from Newtownards in Northern Ireland. Streams coming that fast, it's hard to keep up as family are visiting. Slancha, my friend, cheers. Thank you for joining me all the way out there in Ireland, in Sweden, in Norway, in Canada, and everywhere around the world. We're broadcasting live all around the world. It's no joke. No pressure, Carey. All right, so what do we have? We have a mini PC that's been converted into a laptop. It has a screen, it has a battery, it has a webcam, it has a microphone, it has speakers, it has keyboard, it has a mouse. When you get the machine, when you order it, it's about a little over $300. You get a user manual and you get a USB Type-C power adapter. Pretty bare bones, kind of a, it's not bare bones in the sense it does have RAM, it does have storage. But I mean, you're not getting a lot of the fluff you get with other brands. Again, it's really about keeping that price as cheap as possible. This is entry level all day long. This is not a gaming laptop. Look, before we go down this road, because everybody always wants more, faster, and better and cheaper. Well, pick two. Here's the deal. The reality that we live in here on planet Earth is you get what you pay for. Don't expect a $300 laptop to compare to a $3,000 laptop. This laptop right here, oh, he's bragging. This laptop right here is a creator's laptop, but it has 8 times more storage, 4 times more RAM. It's got a bigger screen. It's got a screen of a different material. It's a AMOLED. It's got better Wi-Fi. It's got a better battery. It's got better support. It weighs more. It does more. And you can buy 10 of these just to buy this one laptop. So in your mind, do us both a favor and stop comparing them. That's not fair. Compare this to other $300 laptops and you'll start to get it. Then you'll be like, oh, now I see the review. Oh, this isn't about the processor, the RAM, the storage, the screen, the battery. This is about how much you're getting for the money when compared to something equally equipped. That's the point of the review. Did we get there? I think we got there. That's the point of every review I ever do. It's what you get for the money. It's not about, is this good enough for you? I don't care if it's good enough for you. I don't even know most of you or what your demands are. What I do know is the value of what things are selling for in the market. And some things sell for over market value, and I want to point that out in my reviews. Other things appear to sell at a good market value, but then when you see how they're made, some of the internal components are less than desirable, and therefore the reason it costs less is because they cut corners on the guts of the machine. HP and Dell do this all the time with those $300 boxes or whatever you can buy at the big retail stores. They're just disposable pieces of junk that are meant to be e-waste in a very short lifespan of usable life, most of which are not repairable, not upgradable in any way, shape, or form. You just use them for a couple of years and then you throw them into the recycle bin and you buy another one. Other PCs that cost more will have a longer useful life and be repairable, upgradable, and will stay out of e-waste for a long period of time. At the end of the day, all of this stuff is e-waste. All of it will eventually be e-waste. The less you pay for it, the sooner it becomes e-waste. You know what's really inexpensive? A Pez dispenser. Yeah, Pez dispenser. Used to have a lot of them. I don't have them anymore. They're in a landfill somewhere, I think. And they're cheap. Dime a dozen, as they say. They have no value. Now, sure, there are some Pez dispensers out there. People collect them and whatnot. And it's not a big market. You can still buy them today. If you want to go buy a Pez dispenser, I don't really think Warren Buffett is putting his money in Pez dispensers, is all I'm trying to tell you. I don't think you're going to buy the Pez dispenser and say, hey, I'm going to pass this on to my children. Not a big investment. All right, so AceMagician, let's take a look at the AceMagician website, or AceMagic as they're calling it. And let's see how they are advertising this thing. Where's my window? Sure. Here it is. Okay. So here's how they present the machine. They say it's got a $399 manufacturer suggested retail price. We don't have any reviews on it because, well, it's brand new. And we're one of the first here to review it. It says it comes with an Intel 12th generation N95 processor with 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 gig solid state drive. And they're not specific about who makes the RAM and single channel or dual channel. We're just, look, you're at a $300 price point for a laptop. This isn't a custom build it yourself boutique builder designing to your every whim. They do have those at about 10 times the cost. So let's keep our expectations reasonable. The ACEMAGIC AX15 laptop, powered by the latest Intel 12th generation Alder Lake N95 processor, is an integrated Intel UHD graphics up to 1200 megahertz with stronger graphics processing capability. Easy to realize your multitasking. ACEMAGIC AX15 comes with 16 gigs of DDR4, built-in 512 gigabyte M.2 SSD, support expansion of 128 gig TF card. What's a TF card? Is that like a micro SD? Pre-installed Windows 11 Pro. That's interesting. They went with Pro on this. It's a 15.6-inch screen. It features an innovative thin bezel display, built-in 720p front camera centered above the screen frame, takes pictures or makes video calls at any time. Bluetooth 5.0 for easy and stable connection of additional devices within range. Oh, this darn mouse. Only 16 kilograms and 0.66 inches thin, meaning it will easily slip into a backpack to be taken anywhere you need to go. It's a metal design of AD shell. We don't know what that means. Pressure resistant and anti-collision or corrosion. Collision? I don't know. A cleverly designed 180-degree lay-flat hinge on the laptop makes it easy to share content or collaborate with friends. Okay. And if we scroll down, somebody's done a little YouTube video here that's, all of 3 minutes long, 4 minutes long. Very basic overview. Does a decent job in 4 minutes. It doesn't really convey anything I find useful. What's the battery life? I have no idea. They claim up to 8 hours, but what is it really? I haven't had it long enough to tell you. And this guy didn't mention it either. Competitive performance. A little bit more about the N95, which we've seen in the mini PCs. They're DDR4. They're comparing to DDR3, which of course DDR5 is out now. I haven't seen DDR3 in a long time, so that's kind of a weird thing to compare it to vintage technology. 15.6-inch Full HD visual experience. Okay, that's great. Supports 1920 by 1080. Great. So, we're not doing 4K, which a lot of the mini PCs all do. 720 HD camera, digital microphone, built-in speakers, ×2. That means a left and a right. 802.11ac. Okay. Ultra long endurance, polymer battery, lithium ion, easily achieves more than 8 hours of battery life. It supports fast charging, the fastest 2.5 hours to complete charging. The 7.6 volt, 5,000 milliamp hour lithium ion polymer battery. Laptop comes with a smart silent fan and cooling copper tubing. Say goodbye to any worries caused by overheating. Noise level at no load, noise level at full load. Memory, storage, and upgrade support. Laptop's got a built-in 16 gig DDR4, 512 gig SSD with single slot support. Single slot support. Well, I think the N95 only supports single channel anyway, so that's what you get if you're going to buy an N95 processor. And the biggest single channel memory you can buy on DDR4 SODIMM is 32 gig. You can't buy anything bigger than that in DDR4 in this format. And up to a 2 terabyte M.2 2280. That's probably not true. It probably will take something bigger, but you could run into potential installation hindrances and heat issues. So just because you can doesn't mean you should. Well, we'll stick with 2 as being a safe amount. Share your screen in real time via HDMI ports. Oh, that's nice. It's got HDMI to hook to a projector or a screen. That's a lot of laptops are removing those these days, and it upsets me. The laptop's designed with a full-size keyboard, allowing you to type without difficulty. The large trackpad makes it easier to choose what you want. It's got a lay-flat design. The flip chain is used at the connection of notebook clamshell, which expands more usage scenarios. So the screen doesn't flip over onto its back. It's not a tablet or a 2-in-1 laptop. It just will lay flat for, I guess, all the times you've always wanted to do that. And then they go through the rest of their lineup here, which is, of course, all mini PCs from AceMagician. Okay, so that's what they say about it. Over at Amazon, if you want to order one and you want that return period of 30 days, then you don't want to order it from them. You want to order it from Amazon because Amazon has that return period. There is a $50 off coupon bringing that price to $309. So either way, it's the same price. With Amazon, you get free shipping and 30-day returns. You can return the unit at no cost, assuming you include everything back that you received. For any reason, you could have just simply changed your mind. It's brand new, so we have more ratings than I expected. 68 ratings. People overall like it. This one 3-star review looks interesting. Super small, comes with all the basics, not expandable. Yeah, you bought a $300 computer. Oh, this isn't even a laptop. This is a mini PC. I'm so upset that the super inexpensive thing I bought isn't expandable. Well, maybe you shouldn't have bought the super cheapest thing you could have got your hands on. If your intention was to expand it, you should have bought a more expensive expandable unit. That's not fair. I'm upset at the company and I'm going to give them a low review because I have unreasonable expectations and I'm an unreasonable person. That's what their review should have said if they were honest. I love to see 1 star, low, anything 3 stars or below, because at least half of them are written by complete morons. They are either so disconnected from reality or they have some dreamland expectation that will never, ever, never be met. They will live their life from nothing but disappointment after disappointment after disappointment until they die, which I suppose they will also find disappointing. Unrealistic. I paid very little and I got very little, and that upsets me. I wanted more. Well, if you would have paid more, you would have got more. But I didn't want to pay more. I wanted to pay less and get more. And for that, I'm giving you 3 stars, because when I paid less, you gave me less. Shame on you. So they did what everybody literally does in the world. I'm going to give this review of this Rolls-Royce 2 stars. Cost way too much. I'm going to give this review of my Chevy Sprint 2 stars because it's not fast, it's not upgradable. You bought a Chevy Sprint. Well, that's all I could afford. Well, then that's what you got. Exactly what you could afford. Why is this such a difficult concept to get through the consumer's heads? It's no wonder marketing companies do the dumbest things and consumers just go, oh, give me some more, please. Hey, we're gonna change the name of the product. You know that Intel i5? It's not an i5 anymore. We're gonna call it the Intel Ultra 5. Oh, not the Ultra i5? No, hear me out on this. That I name, it's getting old, you know? Yeah, but it's not an old processor. It's a brand new processor. It's what we name all our processors. Everybody's familiar with it. And that's the problem. We need to confuse them. We need to innovate. Yeah, but that's what we do. We innovate on the chip. No, I'm not talking about the chips. I'm talking about the box and the branding. You know, your chips, people don't care about the chips. People care about the idea of the chips. So if we give them the idea that this is ultra, we're going to sell more units. We're going to update the box. We're going to update the graphics. Well, you know, we've got the 14 nanometer, 14th generation rather, coming out here with some innovations that are, no, it's all too technical. People are stupid. Don't talk to people like they're smart. You're not going to generate enough sales. It's the stupid people that will part with their money most. So they're the audience we want to attract. So we treat everybody like they're complete idiots. So the product, no, it's not about the product. It's how well we design the box and how clever of a name we give it. So nothing about the product. No, don't, that's please. Are you an idiot? So next generation of Intel chips will simply be 5 or Ultra 5. This will be fun. Don't you love marketing companies? And it works. The sad thing is, it works extremely well. All I got to do is change the name of this to Cam Rui. Now we can sell some more. You didn't do anything. Some people may not like this brand. So by giving them a different brand, but you're competing against yourself. You ever been down a cereal aisle? Cereal's made by pretty much 2 companies. Or laundry detergent's made by like 2 or 3 companies. They're just this idea that you're getting all of this selection. When you're going down the cereal aisle, you're buying from Kellogg's or you're buying from Post. Now, sure, there are some other smaller brands, but the 90% of what's available down that cereal aisle is either Kellogg's or Post. Which do you prefer? Well, I don't like Kellogg's, but I like these Frosted Mini Wheats. So, welcome to marketing. All right, guys. Let's take a look at what this looks like. Let's get into the goods. So this is how it comes out of the box. I think there's a bag around it or something, if I recall, or something protects it. We open this up. We get a little piece of, I don't know what this is, protecting it. And, you know, when this was closed and I saw this, I thought that was a light. Like, what's that green light? And then I saw this other light right over here. Can you guys see that? Oh, that looks like a light that's off and a light that's green. No, those are the tabs for the stickers. Those aren't lights. This doesn't have much in the way of lights. We'll kind of go over this here and see what pros and cons we get. Oh, first and foremost, I can tell you, I am not a fan of this keyboard. Nothing separates the 10 key. The backspace key is too small. The space bar is too small. And the keyboard is off to the left. So every time I type on it, I'm one key to the right where I want to be because the trackpad is not centered. The trackpad shifted to the left. The 0 key is kind of in a weird place too. If you look at a normal trackpad, that's not normally where the 0 key is. 0 is, isn't it usually under the number 1? Anyway, you know, they crammed in too much in this little space and that's how they did it. Or I suppose they could have made the keys smaller, but that would have been worse. So we're not off to the races very good there. You'll see there's no lights on this computer. There is no lights. We've got, oh yeah, micro SD card. I guess that's what a TF is. I don't know. Got a USB 2, USB 3, and a headset jack for headphones, microphone, or a headset. Coming around the front, nothing, nothing, nothing. Come around the side here. We've got our power input right here for our USB power to charge the battery or power the laptop. USB 3, HDMI out, and a USB 3 data port. Oh, and there's 2 teeny tiny pinhole LEDs to give you charging status. And what's that other one? Hard drive activity. Not exactly something you're going to easily be able to, you know what I mean? Like that should be up here. That should be up here where we can see it. I can't see it over here. Or if you're charging it, I understand the charge light being on the side. Sometimes the charge light, that's why I thought these were lights. Insert light, they're just stickers. What else can I tell you about it? There's no caps lock light. So how do you know if caps lock is on or not? I guess you just start typing. It'd be nice if there was a little LED here. Sometimes you get LEDs up across the top that show you hard drive activity. Numlock. Do we have numlock? Is there a numlock on this? Yes, it's a secondary function of F12, so you'd have to hit function here. I don't even know if my fingers, no, my hand is not big enough to make that. I cannot press function and numlock. I guess I'm never going to use the numlock if I'm one-handed. This is not a good design in regards to the part you're going to use probably. The 4 parts of this laptop, you as a human being are going to use. The way you interface with the laptop isn't with a cable. We don't plug you into it. You use your eyes, your ears, and your fingers. And sometimes maybe in the microphone, you'll use your voice. But your interface, your human interface, is going to primarily be the keyboard to trackpad, and the way it communicates back is through the screen. That's how you get information from the computer. This is a pretty important piece. And the fact that it's not ergonomically set up or informationally set up is sad, because otherwise it seems like it would be a good laptop. But I guess you can get used to anything, you know. So power button, where is it? Well, they made the power button look like every other key on the keyboard. So good luck accidentally not pressing that. That's right there. Now I plugged this in and charged it last night and went to Windows Update, and it looked like we had the latest version of Windows 11 Pro 22H2. It allowed me to create an account without having to do the Shift F10 command, you know, registry tweak to get around it. It boots in a reasonable time. It's not a rocket ship, and it's not a slowpoke. It's a $300 computer, and I know this is going to shock you. You're never going to see this coming, but it works exactly like any other $300 computer would work, with the exception that this $300 computer happens to be a laptop. And so when you add the value of the screen, the battery, the keyboard, the speakers, the trackpad, suddenly $300 isn't that much more than this as a mini PC, and you're getting an awful lot of extras for only a few dollars more. You know, a mini PC of this hardware equivalent. So when the minute you take out the battery, take out the screen, take out the keyboard, take out the trackpad, take out the speakers, might save you $60, $70, maybe, because a lot of those lower end ones only come with 8 gigs. We're getting 16 gigs. Same N95 processor, same storage, right? So for the extra $60, let's say, you're getting the screen, keyboard, the trackpad, the speakers, the webcam, the battery. It's pretty good value. Now, the other gentleman ran some games on it. You know, look, it's not a gaming laptop. You got work to do. This will get the work done. You need to remote into work. You can remote into work with this. Easy. You got a child remote learning. You don't want them goofing around too much, playing games. Yeah, they're not really going to be able to with this. What else can I tell you? So weird. It says weird. Oh, those are little rubber. See, right up on the top, it's got these little rubber cushions or little rubber tabs, silicone tabs that stick out. I guess that's to prevent it from leaving marks when it gets closed. That's clever. I like that. The build quality seems very good. It doesn't feel like a Pez dispenser. Is the battery replaceable? I don't know. No idea. These machines aren't really designed for you to be able to upgrade and expand. It's a $300 laptop. You know, many $1,200, $1,500 cell phones do not have replaceable batteries. Now, luckily, and happily, we're seeing a reverse trend on that as people are becoming more outraged over the concern of the addition of e-waste and the lack of repairability of units. But when we're talking about a $1,500 laptop, it becomes more egregious than a $300 laptop. With regards to replacing the battery, it shouldn't be anything you have to worry about for about 3 or 4 years. And by then, in 3 or 4 years, this laptop is probably going to feel very, very slow and outdated. And while it meets our needs today, it'll still do it in 3 or 4 years, but you're not going to be bragging about it to anybody. So to keep it alive or to put any money into it will likely be very bad money put into it, because if you could buy a new battery for it, and that sets you back $50 to $80 for the battery, then you've got to take it apart and risk not breaking it so you can get the battery replaced. If you don't know how to do that, you'll pay a shop $125 to do it. You've paid for this laptop almost twice over, but you haven't increased its value at all. It won't perform any better. So whether or not the laptop is replaceable, to me, in my opinion, isn't really a question you really want to be asking on a $300 laptop, because even if the answer is yes, it's just their way of saying we'll be glad to have some more of your money. I think you should take the money to replace the laptop when that time comes in 3, 4, maybe 5 years, and use that to buy another $300 laptop, which will make this one look like a relic, like a vintage old relic, and your new $300 laptop in 4 or 5 years will look like today's i7s. But it'll still be a limited laptop by the standards in 3 or 4 or 5 years. You're going to get what you pay for. And if you want to buy something cheap and put money into it, maybe you should buy something of a higher value that's worth putting money into. I've always advised people not to buy the extended warranties on electronics unless those electronics are $1,000 or more. Because quite often, the amount you're paying for the warranty that most people never use makes that bargain price you paid for that thing not such a good deal. And by the time, let's say you don't use the warranty at all, and you run this thing through its useful life, you just flush that money down the toilet. But if you've got a device that's over $1,000, then I definitely recommend getting the extended warranty if you want to keep it a long time, because at least that way, that's your peace of mind that this investment that you've made is going to be protected, guaranteed that it's going to work and be useful to you for the period of however long of a warranty you buy, versus rolling the dice, and if anything happens to it outside of its normal warranty, you're out another 12 or 1500 to replace it. That's the way I would gamble with it. But at the end of the day, it's still gambling. So, you know, I'm just sharing my perspective with you on that. Les Stevenson said, Carey, this would be good for kids and beginners. Sure, yes. As a child's laptop, obviously it's not spill resistant, so you'd want to be very cautious of that. And it's not marker resistant. If they write on it with indelible markers, it's going to stay that way forever. But an old enough child, for sure, you know, maybe 7, 8, 9. The other thing I would say is a lot of people that are elderly that have very simple computer needs, where they don't like all of the cables. There's too many cables to plug in. I see a lot of them wanting to choose laptops because they see them as simpler. And even though they never, ever run them on battery, they just plug them in. So their batteries died years ago, and their laptops can be 10, 12 years old, and they're fine with it. It's still, if it gets them online, you know, and as long as they're running a supported operating system, I'm all for it. No problem. You don't need to have the latest and greatest. And their grandkids will tell them, why do you have that old dinosaur? And they say, should I upgrade because my grandparents, my grandchildren said that? And I'm like, no, it's your grandchildren. They're morons. You should buy what you need, and they need to buy what they need. So what you have to them is like offering them your clothes. Here, let me hand down my clothes to you, Sonny. I'm not wearing that. You crazy? And then you see what they're wearing, and you're like, well, I'm not wearing that. You're not wearing each other's clothes. So you don't want each other's computers. So don't take their advice for clothes, and don't take their advice on computers or cars. I'm telling you. You get what you need. Don't worry about what they have to say. They're still young enough that they give a damn what other people that they don't even know think. They'll get over that when they get older. Patrick Rusaw said, the listing says you can upgrade the RAM and the storage. Yes, yeah, Patrick, it does say that. And likely that means that the system should be fairly easy to get into. And perhaps there's a battery in there. And if there's a battery in there, then maybe we can buy a battery for it at some time and replace it. You see, here's the thing. Even if it's a replaceable battery, unlike the RAM and storage, which are an industry standard shared amongst desktops and laptops alike, worldwide, DDR4 is DDR4. You know, SODIMM is SODIMM. NVMe is NVMe. M.2 is M.2. Our form factors and our protocols are all standardized, but our batteries are not. And that's where the problem comes. You can't just go and buy any battery. You've got to have the right custom-made battery that fits in that case, that has the right custom-made connector, that has the right polarity and the right voltage and the right amperage. And guess who makes it? Well, I have a suspicion AceMagic doesn't make this laptop. It's probably got a main manufacturer that they're branding. And if we can figure out who that is, then we can probably get the battery maybe on eBay or some other shady source. But I really feel like you're putting the cart before the horse on this issue, because these are lithium batteries. These aren't the nickel cadmium batteries or nickel metal hydride batteries of the past era. The lithium ion batteries have a very, very long shelf life. And you should easily get 4 years for sure. 5 years wouldn't be uncommon out of the battery. And after 5 years, the laptop would, likely just not keep up with our demands, that the way we use our computers 5 years from now. It might. I mean, it kind of depends on you. But I mean, if you're that kind of person, if you're of the personality type that would open it up and do this, then this likely isn't going to keep you happy for 5 years. You will become frustrated with it in probably 3 or 4, because that's the kind of person you are. Normally, these two kind of people don't cross. Most of the people that I see buying the low-end stuff never open it. They don't care. They don't even think to do it. It never even occurs to them. They purchase it like they purchase a refrigerator. You plug it in, you use it. If it dies, you got a good years out of it, you replace it. That is the most common attitude seen on the low end. I mean, we could try opening it and see if it's difficult. Why not? I see screws. That's a good start. Should we open it? Who knows? Maybe when we see what battery is in there, you can search online. Maybe it's already available for sale. A lot of battery anxiety happening here in the chat room today. What did I do with my... Oh, here. Les Stevenson said, Carey, I love my laptop. It's all I need. It's about 3 years old, but it still works fine. I got it from Best Buy here in Toronto. It has no DVD, and when the battery goes, I'll get another. You didn't spend a lot of money for it. You got a few years out of it. You say, how much did this cost me per year? What did that work out to per month? What did it cost per day? Do you feel it still owes you anything? Let's see. We've got Phillips head screws, 1, 2, 3, 4 across the back, 1 each on the middle on each side, and then 4 symmetrically across the front. That looks pretty much like it. Let's see what's inside. Wow, that is a long screw. Sometimes the hinge screws can be longer, so I want to pay particular attention. Yep, that screw is way, way shorter. So I'm making a little pattern on the desk of the order they're coming out. That one's another little tiny short screw. This one will be a long screw. Fast Alpha says, batteries do stop working after a while. Well, this isn't intended to be with you for a long while. You know what else stops working for after a while? Everything, including you. Not quite sure there's much you can do about it. I mean, there's certain things you can do, but you're not going to stop accidents from happening. You're not going to stop accidentally dropping this or having it stolen. There's all kinds of life events that occur. That's chaos. That to focus on one simple life event or to one possibility eliminates and ignores all the other things in life that can get you. You can be the healthiest person in the world and get hit by a car. You're not even driving. You're just minding your own business. You're out getting your hike in, getting your health in. You're going over to the juice bar so you can, go to the gym, work out, and be so healthy. And then as you're leaving, some drunk driver or somebody texting not paying attention runs right into you, or some nutcase goes in there with a gun and starts shooting at people randomly. You got no idea who he is, and now you're dead. But you are in great shape for a dead guy. I mean, I gotta say, kudos. All right, so it looks like we've got all the screws are this really short ones except for the hinge screws, so that'll make it easy to put it back together. So I appreciate that from AceMagic. They've got contact us information here on the back, and we just got to figure out how we're going to crack this bad boy open. Oh, I thought I was going to have to struggle and fight, but it just voluntarily popped itself right off. I wish they could all be that way. Can we just... Hey, that's metal. Do you hear that? AceMagician. You guys do it right. All right, I'm going to walk this over to the camera. We're going to take a look at what we got in here. Okay, this is the inside of the AX15. CPU cooling fan. Our Wi-Fi card is replaceable. That's a nice surprise. Obviously, this is our battery. These are speakers, in case you were wondering what speakers look like. These are our speakers. This is our battery. This is our Wi-Fi. This is our single RAM stick. Remember, our Intel CPU will only accept a single RAM stick. It's not a limitation of the manufacturer. That's a limitation that Intel has put on a budget CPU. You want more than this, you got to spend more for a better CPU. This is our single M.2 slot. There doesn't appear to be another one. And that's all she wrote. Is this battery pack replaceable? Well, I mean, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 screws holding it in. And got some connectors being held on here with tape. That's a good thing. That means during shipping, they won't break free and create support calls. Where's the connector for the battery? Probably is up here somewhere. So there's a model number. If you guys interested in if the battery is replaceable and how much that battery would cost you, want to Google that battery's model number to see if it's available and for how much, I think you can answer your own question. And then, you know, even if it's not available today, because who knows, maybe it's a newly designed battery that they don't have an abundance of yet. That would be what you'd look for in the future if you wanted to replace it. But even if you couldn't, it wasn't like you put a lot of money into it. You know what I mean? Who cares? It's $300. I think you should expect to get 1 year of use out of every $100 you spend on a computer. That would be a reasonable, listen very carefully, reasonable expectation. I think if you are unreasonable, how do I want to say this? I think if you're a reasonable person and you buy a $300 computer, then if you get 3 years out of it minimum, you've broken even and it owes you nothing. And anything you get above and beyond that would be icing on the cake, and you would express gratitude and appreciation for the quality, the build quality, and the overall value you got for the system the longer you can keep it after 3 years. And I'm not talking about liquid coolers and all these other stupid additional add-ons. I'm talking about just the base computer. You spend $800 on a base computer, you should expect 8 years out of it as your break-even point. And then anything beyond that, that's a gift. So depending on your needs, your demands, your expectations, if you want to join people in a happier mental place, one of the fastest ways to get there is to reset your expectations to be what is considered reasonable. If you refuse to do that, it's only you that is suffering. I'm not suffering. You're the one that's going to get all worked up and pissed off. You want to do that to yourself? You know, I mean, I know people that cut themselves too. I'm not into that, man. I don't get it. But you do you. For the rest of us, if you want to be reasonable and you don't know what reasonable is, you don't know how it's defined in the world of computers, 1 year for every $100 is what you should expect to break even in this 30+ year experienced professional technician's opinion. That is a number I have come up with. I didn't borrow it from anybody. I didn't read it anywhere. I'm just looking back at over 30 years in this industry and where we are today and where I've been personally with my builds. And I can tell you, for every $100 I have spent on the computer, if I got a year out of it, so with $800 build, if I got 8 years out of it, it owes me nothing. Every year after that is just bonus. That's extra that I'm not paying for. I'm getting it for free. That's how I see it. Keeps me in a much happier state of mind. I don't feel so ripped off all the time. Hey, Alhaj Depeche found a link for the battery. Let's take a look. Oh, it's from AliExpress. I'm sure this won't set your house on fire. Let's see. All from AliExpress. Good job. What do we have? Hey, it's only $28. It's cheap. Well, it's a good thing the cheap laptop uses a cheap battery. Maybe you should buy 2 or 3 of them. $28. 10 pins, 7 lines. We'd have to pull the tape off and look at the connector to see if it matches that. But That's probably it. If it matches the part number, looks like all the screw holes are in the same place, all the mounting holes. The bottom one should have 2 holes. Yeah, they do. I'd say you found it. Good job. Then, of course, it'll take 3 or 4 weeks for you to receive it. Estimated delivery, September 4th. Okay, it's going to take you 2 months to receive. 2.5 months to get it. So you better know when you're going to need it 2.5 months ahead of time. But there's a $2 off store coupon. So yeah, if you want to stay cheap and you want to keep cheap and you want to extend cheap beyond what's reasonable, well, the Chinese, that apparently is the Chinese way. I don't know what to tell you, man. I wouldn't do it. And if you got to wait that long, you better buy 2. That's all I'm saying. And if it sets your house on fire, but at least you save money. You can tell that to your insurance agent. I don't know. I don't know. I obviously could not sell that in my business. I could literally take my business out of business if anything happens. It's not going to be good customer service. Customers are not going to ever trust me again. But interesting, very interesting. Shipping is 27. Okay, so now you're at $50 for the battery. Good catch. Ron Varnish says 56 on eBay. Yeah, that's because somebody on eBay has ordered them from AliExpress and they're adding a few dollars profit on it. Although once they pay the eBay fees, I'm not quite sure they're making any money, but that's likely what they're doing. I'm sure in time the battery will probably get more common, but it seems like a weird obsession on a $300 laptop. How can I buy the cheapest thing possible and make it last forever? Well, first thing you need to do is not buy the cheapest thing possible if your goal is for it to last forever. But I want it to last a long time. Maybe not forever, but maybe for the next 5 or 6 or 7 years. Well, if you spend $500, $600, or $700, that would be very reasonable for you to do. No, I don't want to spend $500 or $600 or $700. Okay, I'd like to buy a Rolls Royce, but I don't want to spend more than a Chevy Sprint. So how do I get there? Well, that's crazy talk. What are you, a madman? No, I'm just asking the same thing you're asking. I'm not crazy. Not any crazier than you to have those kind of bizarre expectations, am I? Hi, Roost Chris Steakhouse. I'd like to have your fancy steak dinner, but I only want to pay for the McDonald's prices. If you can get through the world that way and that works for you, I'd like you to teach me how. Doma 2000 says it's very decent for the price, easily serviceable, and a good amount of USB ports. Many other brands should take note. I agree, although I don't think servicing this is beneficial. Servicing $1,000 or more laptop, absolutely critical. Servicing a $300, this is a disposable e-waste machine. That's all this is. It's meant to get you a solution that's cheap today and for the near future. It is not meant to be your permanent solution. Unless you have very simple needs. I just want to get online. I just want to pay some bills. I want to read the news. I want to email some friends. I want to go on Facebook or TikTok or Twitter, watch some YouTube. You know what? This will do that for many, many years. I'm going to plug it in. I'm not even going to use it on the battery. It's fine. Obviously, our chat room is not filled with people like this. Those people are not here. Those are the people that this laptop is primarily designed for, not for any of you. Clearly, you guys have made that through your comments very clear. This would not meet your standards and you would be upset with it. Given what it is, it goes above and beyond what I would expect any $300 laptop to do, honestly. The RAM should be soldered on. That would have lowered the price of the laptop and increased the speed of the RAM. They're not doing you any favors by making it removable at this price point. This is sort of a bad design in my opinion. This absolutely should have been soldered on RAM. That $3,000 laptop I just showed you, soldered on RAM. It's faster and more reliable. This also would have been faster and more reliable. And with the money they saved with the socket, not having to pay for that, probably could have got some better RAM. The drive that's in here looks like it's SATA. It doesn't even look like it's NVMe, but let me take a look. I don't want to peel the tape off. We'll just run Crystal Disk on it. We'll see what it is. But that brand, I seem to recall that being a SATA. Oh, it is. It says right on it. CYX S1000 SATA. So this is a 512 gig SATA drive. It is not NVMe at all. And again, even putting an NVMe on an N95 doesn't make a lot of sense because you can't really fully utilize the benefits of a high-performance NVMe drive. An N95 processor doesn't have the capability of handling that much traffic anyway. So, Saruman with a $10 super chat. Thank you, Saruman. Jim KJ3N says, check your email. I'm on board. Hey, right on, Jim. I will check my email as soon as I get this thing put back together. This left, I don't know what I'm doing. That screwdriver's way too big for this screw. And that's with my glasses on. Oh my gosh, things are going to get bad here. I'm not that old yet. Come on now. And I am putting this together backwards. This long screw goes on the hinge. Carey, the genius. Yeah, they don't call you the last part. Yeah, I know that was sarcasm. All right, let's get the hinges on first. The rest of the screws are the same, so. Jim says it doesn't get any easier when you're 63. It might. I could be dead at 63. Long before that, then things get real easy for me. I just have to lay there. I'm really good at that. I could do that for millennia. Paul O'Brien contributes €2. He says, great review so far, Carey. So I don't want to oversell or overhype. I want to create a realistic series of expectations from what I show here. And I want to definitely show that for what you're paying, it's a heck of a deal. It really is, because an N95 mini PC, I mean, go on Amazon and look. What's a mini N95 mini PC with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gig of storage and Windows 11 Pro sell for? Then subtract that from $300, and with the change, figure out how you can buy a screen, keyboard, mouse, battery, speakers, microphone, and webcam. Suddenly, this gets to be a very, very good value. Am I going to use it? No, absolutely not. This will not do what I need it to do, and I have very demanding settings. That's why I spent $3,000 for my laptop. Can I say that enough times? $3,000. I could buy 10 of these for what my one laptop cost. And that laptop has soldered on RAM for a reason. So in some ways, this is more serviceable than mine, but mine will last statistically, have a more useful life for likely around 10 years. For example, I still have my Dell XPS 8th gen laptop. It's a Core i7 8th gen. I use it every day. I'm using it every day at Studio B since I started here at Studio B, where before it used to just sit on a shelf, except on the rare occasion when I traveled, I took it with me. And that is still my preferred go-to laptop even now. I've got a 13th gen laptop sitting right over there. Cost a little bit more money. I think the Dell XPS was $2,300. This one was $3,000, and I still prefer the $2,300 one. Just like the keyboard layout better. I like the screen being rectangular. And the Samsung $3,000 laptop, it's going to more of a square. We're seeing the return of the square screen, which I don't like. The Samsung screen picture quality is beautiful, but I mean, what difference does that make when I'm reading emails, answering viewers' emails and sponsors' inquiries, and getting shipping labels printed out? But eventually, I will wean myself off of that 8th gen, but damn it, it's still good. How old is that now? 6 years old? 5, 6 years old? And given the 11th gen XPS I have and that 13th gen Samsung Galaxy Book 3, still like my 8th gen XPS best. What are you going to do? I do like how that opens. That's a real pleasure. And again, standing ovation to AceMagic for this design. Couldn't be any easier, honestly. You don't have to be a tech. Anybody with a small enough screwdriver and, you know, a pair of eyes that work better than mine could easily open that. If you wanted to waste your money on RAM, you could. Complete waste of money, in my opinion. The problem is, no matter how much RAM you put in it, you're still running an N95 processor. And that's really the issue. That's the heart of it all. But you could if you wanted to. There's no law against it. I mean, fool and his money soon go different ways, right? I mean, that's an expression. Storage, it's still going to be SATA, even if you put 2 terabytes in it. I just think you're better off going external on this stuff. Get a USB storage device. And that way, when the laptop needs to be replaced in a couple years, you're not stuck in this migration situation that gets complex, because now how do you get the stuff up? And in many cases, your USB external drive will be faster than that internal SATA anyway. So it's really an upgrade to go external on it. But these are all choices for the owner to make, not for me. You don't have to get my permission. I'm just telling you what I, as a professional technician, would advise you as my customer, and what I would and would not support. And if you did those things I advise you not to do, I would not support you, because I know you're not the kind of customer I want to handle. So there's no law against that. I'm protecting my business. And when people don't want to listen to me, I don't want to work for them. Those aren't the customers I want. And that's okay. That's okay. There's lots of other technicians to pick from, or you might not even ever hire a technician. Maybe you're your own technician. Though I don't know if you are, why you'd be watching my channel for any information, because you obviously are smarter than me. So, you know, the internet's a strange place. All right, so let me see what I've been missing here in the chat. How many stars are on the review for this computer? It's hard to tell, Les, because on Amazon, it looks like there used to be a product page for a mini PC. So we'd have to look at all 68 reviews to see if any of them are for the laptop. It's just come out, so I don't think there's going to be many out there yet. You'd have to wait a few months, give it some time. Or you can simply, you know, if you're interested, buy it from Amazon. Decide for yourself, because, you know, look, who gives a rat's behind what somebody else has to say about it? It drives me crazy. It really does. When I see people running benchmarks and playing games and getting frame rates, you've got to be kidding yourself if you think that's telling you anything about how you use that computer. It's pointless information. All of those benchmarks, in my opinion, as a professional technician, are pointless. They're providing you junk food, and you're thinking it's nutrition. Let me tell you something. None of these folks benchmarking these computers are using the computer the way you will. They're likely not playing the games you play. And if they are, of all the games they test, there happens to be one. Well, I guess if that's only the one game you play, then even when they play it, are they playing it under the same settings you play under? So it might be an interesting way of collecting information, but I think the information is completely worthless, honestly. Apart from, you know, giving you an idea of how fast it runs overall, just in general, we can say it's got this processor. I can tell you every computer with that processor is all going to run within a few percentage points of any other. This is a new machine. Well, the new machine's obviously going to run faster than the old machine. What a shock. What kind of storage does it have? Does it have NVMe? Is it Gen 3? Is it Gen 4? Is it DDR4? Is it DDR5? Is it single channel? Is it dual channel? Clearly, if you're playing games, you want dual channel RAM to improve your frame rates. And you want a decent video card to play those games. And you're not going to get that super cheap. You're going to pay more. Gaming is an expensive luxury. It's not a life's necessity. In fact, there's lots of games you can play, like Solitaire, that don't require any of the graphics or processing power or dual channel. They run just fine. So, you know, these people, they go through all this effort And they go, here's the noise level, but they don't know how sensitive your hearing is or what the acoustics are of the room you're placing it in or how sensitive you are. That's pointless. They talk about, here's how it runs in Cinebench. You're not running Cinebench. Any of you were running Cinebench, you weren't rendering that file. Your project will run uniquely based on your unique project. So how it works for you is something no reviewer can tell you how it's going to work for you. You have to buy it if it's something you're seriously considering based on the specs, not based on any review. There's not a review in the world. Unless the review is warning you of bad customer service, or the review is warning you that the thing caught fire, you are getting the same RAM that runs at the same speed as everybody else gets when they buy that RAM at that speed. You're going to get the same performance out of that CPU as everybody else who has that CPU. And maybe a BIOS lets you crank up the TDP by, go from 35 watts to 45 watts. But maybe you get 3% more performance. 3%. Oh my gosh, that makes all the difference in the world. That's the one I'm going to buy. Because look, this one came with an extra grain of sand. So I'm going to buy that bag of sand because it's got a little extra grain of sand in it. So that's the one I want. That one right over there. I'm picking that one. Not you suckers can have the ones that have fewer grains of sand. I'm buying multi-billions grains of sand in this bag. This one has one more. And that's all I care about is getting one more than you. Nobody's inventing the RAM. Nobody's coming out with their own special RAM. Well, Dell has. That's a different story. But overall, it's sort of like, look, it's DDR4 rated at this speed. It's going to perform exactly as it's rated. This is the CPU. It's rated at this speed. It's going to run. I don't care who makes it. I don't care if it's B-Link. I don't care if it's AceMagician. I don't care if it's Cambry. I don't know what you're expecting from these reviews. They're all the same. Every single one of these is the same. The only thing that's different is how it looks and maybe how many I/O ports you get. How many monitors can you run? That's going to vary. How big is it? Is it lightweight? Is it thick? Is it heavy? These are the things that actually a reviewer can convey to you that may be useful. But unless what you're doing is running the same benchmarks as the reviewer, then you're not a computer user. That's not what you are. You're somebody who wants to be a computer user. You're pretending to be a computer user, but you don't actually use a computer. You only pretend to, because benchmarks are just pretend. That's all they are. They're simulating real computer use. And I suggest and advise to you, my friend, that you figure out something to use your computer for, and that is your benchmark. That, you understand? That is the only benchmark that matters, is how you use your computer and whether or not it does it well or it meets or exceeds your expectations, which nobody on this planet uses their computer in the same way as you do. Unless you're all running benchmarks, in which case you're pretending to use a computer. It's preposterous. We live in a very strange world of pretend. The idea that, well, if it does this well, it'll automatically do that well. No, it won't. It's not how computers work. There's complexities involved in projects. Showing a Cinebench benchmark is pointless, in my opinion. When you have an actual project you are rendering in like MathCAD or I don't know. My brain's going numb trying to think of some of these 3ds Max, is it, or a real program, an actual program that people actually use to work, and you have a project to render, and you wonder, how is this computer going to render my project on 3ds Max? You buy the computer. Well, first you look at the specs. You have an understanding and overall of what that processor is capable of. How much RAM at what speed? Is it single or dual channel? Nothing a reviewer says about it in regards to performance has any effect on how you're going to use it. So if you think those specifications are ideal for what you're using, then you buy it from somewhere you can return it, load your 3ds Max, load your project that you've been working and putting your life into, and render it out and see how long it takes. Does it work good for you? Does it not work good for you? That has no impact on me or anybody else because we don't have that project that you created all by yourself because you actually used your computer to do something. That's all I'm saying. So in some cases, reviews are completely pointless, at least in regards to performance. Now, how easy is it to open? Hey, that's good to see in a review. I want to see how easy how much power does it consume? Well, it's going to tell you everything you pretty much are going to hear in the review is already on the manufacturer's page. If we go back to the manufacturer's, let's go back over to, let's go back over to AceMagician's page here. And I challenge you. I challenge you, find any review that says something different than the manufacturer's page. Outside of, the manufacturer may omit information that the reviewer fills in, like how easy is it to open? How do you get into it? What are the brands of hardware inside? Things like that. But with regards to what the manufacturer is saying, it's exactly what the reviewer is going to say. It's always the same. There's nothing new here. You don't know what you're looking for. Let's go over here and take a look, for example. It's gray. Yep, it's gray. It's an Intel 12th generation N95. Yep, we verified it's an Intel 12th Gen N95. Got 16 gigs of RAM. It doesn't specify if it's single or double, but we know an N95 won't take double. So what choice do we have? It's got to be a single 16. Duh. It's 512 gig SSD. Doesn't say if it's NVMe or not, but it's an N95, so it doesn't really make that much difference, does it? Okay. Doesn't tell us if the RAM is soldered on or not. Okay, but why would we be upgrading the RAM in an N95 anyway? Whatever. Powered by the latest Intel. Yep, this is all true. Everything they're writing here is true. It's all true. The reviewer's not uncovering the lies. There's no lies here. What am I missing? You can predict every review you see for the most part, just by looking at the manufacturer's specifications. It won't do better than that. And the only thing that you might learn from the review, once again, I'm going to reiterate, is, is it easy to open? Is the manufacturer easy to work with? A lot of reviews don't even talk about that. Is the product constantly out of stock because there was a good review and now everybody's buying it up? So I'm going to just give you a spoiler alert. Every time you watch reviews from me going forward, they're almost always going to mimic exactly what the manufacturer says. I'm only going to reiterate it. And the only real information that you can glean from this is it available at Amazon? How much money is it? And, is it easily, if you're interested, is it easy to work on? Is the company easy to work with? Is the product in stock? Windows 11 is still Windows 11. Solid state drive, the RAM, it's not even made by them. They're all using the same stuff. And even if it's from a different manufacturer, it's following the same industry specification. It's not like there's some new kind of storage they created. And that's how it's getting to be so inexpensive, is through this normalization and standardization in the industry. If everybody made everything proprietary, it'd be a nightmare, it'd be expensive. You'd have an Apple computer is what you'd have. Do you have any questions for me? When would you want to lay it flat? Jeremy wants to know. I was wondering the same thing. Can we lay it flat? Yeah, it kind of lays flat, almost flat. I'd be afraid somebody thinks, oh, they could keep going and then crack it. It's a good looking screen. I can't think of another $300 laptop. That's it. If I had let me think, how do I want to phrase this? This is not the best laptop money can buy. This is the best laptop you can buy for the money. There's your tagline. Oh, I was going to check email. Squirrel. Ah, there's Jim. Right on. Yeah, we'll definitely have a talk, Jim, for sure. Now, bear with me here just 1 second. Let me just check something here in the other room. Okay, sorry about that. Jim, on your channel, I saw you were reviewing a network attached storage, and you were looking at data throughput performance. And I don't know anything about, you didn't really go over in the video what this was, what the device was. Is this a computer you're running an operating system on that function as a NAS, or is this some Chinese-made NAS? And are you running a 2.5 gig network? Because the speeds you were getting were faster than 1 gig speeds for sure, at least on my network, on my NAS. I get about 120 megabytes per second. And I've got some pretty serious NASs. You know, I've got that Synology with two 18 terabyte drives in RAID 1. And when I upgrade it to 2.5 gig networking, I can get somewhere around 340, 350 megabytes per second. Even my wireless network to my router is faster with the Synology NAS with the 2.5 gig upgrade going into the 2.5 gig port on the back of the router, where before my wireless Dell XPS 8th Gen i7 was transmitting at 80 megabytes per second, it's now transferring at 119 megabytes per second. So suddenly my Wi-Fi got better. Like this is baffling my brain. I'm not complaining, but that's damn near faster than I'm getting on wired gigabit speeds. Pretty much identical to it. And I'm getting it on Wi-Fi 5 essentially. Maybe it's Wi-Fi 6. I'm not sure. Part of me wants to open that 8th gen laptop and drop a Wi-Fi 6E adapter in it, because if it's doing that good now, imagine how much better it could be. Jim says he upgraded the switch to 2.5 gig and put a 2.5 gig NIC in the box, and it's a home-built NAS. I gotcha. Okay. So 2.5 gig, you should be seeing about I'm going to just go for the middle and say 330 megabytes per second. But you're not using NAS drives, I bet. That's probably why you're getting this weird discrepancy in performance. You're using like desktop drives, are you? I'm guessing. Getting a garage alert. Twice. Who's in front of my garage? Boom. So my mailman, whenever he's got packages to deliver, he doesn't set them by the front door. If my garage door is open, he walks them into my garage. Creeps me out, but I think he thinks he's doing me a favor by keeping it out of the public eye, I suppose, by not leaving it by the front door, keeping it out of the sun when it's 114 degrees outside. Well, it's not 114 yet. Saturday, I think it's 114. It's going to be brutal this year. We knew that was coming. So bear with me here just a second. And let me go out there and see what this, because normally if he can fit it in a mailbox, he doesn't walk in the garage. It just freaks me out. Ah, it's like Christmas here. Let's take a look at what we've got. Let me see. This looks like something from AliExpress. Dawood would say, box tape man. And the nice garbage bag it shipped in. What do we have? Oh, we've got bags inside of bag. Yeah, this is gonna have China written all over it here. What is it? What is it? Oh, it's an M.2 cooler from AliExpress. That's a good $8 spent. What's this one? Oh, it's another package in my package. What is this one? Good thing I've got scissors. I'm going to be using them a lot today. This is another M.2 cooler for $8. Completely different design. I suspect all of these M.2 coolers, regardless of how they look or how much or how little they cost, effectively do pretty much the same exact thing. Okay, here's another package inside of my package. I'm so glad they don't waste materials. Glad they individually packaged and addressed each thing and then put it in one package with an address. Crazy. What is it? I don't know. It's a big pack, big box. M.2 SSD heatsink. Oh, it's a big one. I saw this and I said, this is so stupid. I gotta have it because, you know, what if it works? Here, check this out. Come on, don't you want to put that on your M.2 drive? Look how cool that is. Thank you, AliExpress. I only had to wait 4 weeks for it. Does it actually do anything? Can I find a computer I can put it in where it won't get in its own way? These are the mysteries that await us. Now here's something that's way bigger than everything else. Wow, man, I didn't realize in that one package I was going to have 4 different things. This thing, there's no way this is an M.2 cooler because it's way too big. What is this? Oh, I know what this is. Okay. What's he doing? What's he doing? I like to watch Patrick Kennedy over at Serve the Home YouTube channel. And they look at more business-related stuff. And he was looking at some business-related network switches, 2.5 gig. We were just talking about 2.5 gig networking. And he mentioned this one that he liked called, it doesn't smell good, 2.5 gig power over Ethernet switch. Why does it smell like fish? Did they have a carp in here before they sent this to me? Save 20 bucks. Sure, it smells like fish, but I'm sure that'll go away in time. I didn't think it was power over Ethernet. 5-port, 2.5 gig, 8-port, 2.5. Wait, I didn't order a 5, did I? No, it's an 8. 8-port, 2.5 gig Ethernet switch. Made by who? I don't know who it's made by. It has no manufacturer name on it. Just says made in China. Yeah, well, what isn't? Every Chinese person I ever met was made in China. Well, this is either a Mocher Link or a Horako, and they're like 80 bucks, whereas you buy them here in the States, they're 110. Not a big saving. Save 30 bucks, and you wait 3 or 4 weeks and you'll get it. And you got no return, you know, it's yours forever. And since I've been playing around, well, I will be playing around with more networking, and especially myself getting into the swing of 2.5 gig, I'm digging it. Now that everything's got 2.5 gig, I think the reason I ordered this is I've got a client that I think will benefit from having it. Their switch keeps needing to be reset a lot. Their networking slows to a crawl. Some cheap thing we got at Fry's Electronics on a whim because we needed it. It was a weekend and the whole system was down. Oh, I know. They had a 100 megabit switch. Who put this in? No wonder why everything's slow. They shouldn't even be selling those. And when we went to Fry's Electronics, they still had half of the switches were still 100 megabit. long after 100 megabit was obsolete. They were still selling them. So I had to dig through the wall of switches to say, okay, this is gigabit, this is gigabit, this is overpriced, this is overpriced. Found one, went over there, drove back to the office, hooked it up, and that's been what it's been ever since then. And Fry's Electronics has long gone out of business. So now what's happening is I go to do the backups remotely, and it says, okay, we'll scan the file synchronization and compare what's on the server to what's on the backup drive. And it's moving at like 10 megabytes per second when it should be moving at 120 megabytes per second. And I'm like, well, this is going to be a while. So because it's remote access, I just shut it off and go watch TV. And then sometimes I forget to check it. It's like, oh, it's been an hour. Let's see. Then it says, okay, yeah, there's 1.6 gigs of files that have changed that need to be copied over and synchronized. Do you want to begin? I say yes. It says this will take 3.5 hours when it should actually take about 13 minutes. And then they go into the office, they realize it's slow, they unplug the switch, they plug it back in. They've got a brand new ASUS router, so I know it's not that. And the ASUS router has 2.5 gig ports on it. So they don't know it yet, but I think they're about to get an upgrade, and I'll be happy to pay for it so I can both test this switch, which can't be any worse than what they've got, can it? And improve how much time I'm taking to do the backups. It'll pay for itself. I won't even charge them for it. Just let me get in there, let me replace what you've got, and we'll all be a lot happier. And then if it breaks or anything, harder for them to be pissed at me since they didn't pay me for it, right? That's what I'm thinking. That's the logic I'm going with here. So yeah, I think I'm going to deploy that. You got to watch those little aluminum caps. What's he talking about? Oh yeah, TP-Link has the network switches, and they're even available on AliExpress as well. Darren Gilham provides the link to serve the home. Oh, I see. Have you ever replaced surface mount capacitors? When they burst during desoldering, they smell like fish. I haven't done that in years. In fact, I've never done surface mount work. Everything I did was, at legs. Went right through the board. Something fishy about that package, Bruce says. Dave Darwin does tech stuff. Darren Gilham posts a link to his channel. He's hilarious. Paul M contributes $10. He says, here's a few bucks to show my appreciation to Carey. Hey, Paul, thank you. Michael Mariello says, you seem to be staying away from N5, or are you just saving it for light use? Are you talking to me? What's an N5? I don't know what you mean. If there's any questions I've missed, there's a lot going on here in the chat. Please go ahead and post it now. Otherwise, I think we're pretty much done with the review. I think it's a good value for what it is. It isn't what it isn't. And I think if you have a reasonable expectation and understand good value for the money, I think this would serve you very well. I really do. I've had very good luck with AceMagician in regards to their support. They've been very quick to respond compared to other companies. They don't really have a local service center here in the United States, so I would advise buying it from Amazon. If it's good for 30 days, it'll probably be good for a very long time. It's only a $300 laptop. I wouldn't expect more than 3 years out of it. If you get 3 years out of it before you have a problem, I'd say you broke even. Anything beyond 3 years on a $300 computer, I consider that bonus, extra. I don't expect it entitled and deserved. Not at that price point. I absolutely don't. Not in this market. But you can have whatever expectations you want. You can be difficult to please. You can be easy to please. That's entirely your choice. Not sure why it's a choice, but Paul O'Brien contributes €2. He says, Xanax time, Carey. What is it with you and the Xanax? Alan Shaver contributes $2. He says, keep your honest, down-to-earth reviews. Thank you, Alvin. Tom K contributes $2. Thank you, Tom K. Paul O'Brien contributes €2. He says, great review so far. Thank you again. Chat won't go any further back than that. About 246 of you are watching. Thank you for tuning in. Gil Garcia says, good show, Carey. Thank you, Gil. Dan Nilsson says, good review as always. Right on. Sarge Tech says, what happened with Chewy? Well, if we're referring to that little computer Chewy sent me that they sell over at Newegg that is got Windows 11 on it, but it's not Windows 11 compatible, they don't care. Chewy's made it very obvious. They do not care. First of all, it took them 2 days to answer my email. And then when I responded, they did not answer me at all. After 3 more days, I said, are you going to answer me? And they said, well, is it running Windows 11? Didn't it come with Windows 11 installed? I said, yes. Someone tricked and forced the computer into having Windows 11, but it does not have a TPM. They said, that's right. That computer does not have a TPM. I said, then you are misleading the public by saying it's Windows 11 compatible, and it's not. And they said, but did it have Windows 11 on it when you got it? And I said, you know what? I'm going to expose your company to my YouTube channel that these are the games that you're playing. I didn't say it didn't come with Windows 11. I said Windows 11 isn't compatible. It is implied that if you're shipping it with Windows 11, it's compatible with Windows 11, and it is not. And you're dancing around it, playing a game with it. We said it came with Windows 11, and it came with Windows 11, so we didn't lie. It's a game. And I'm not amused, and I don't like that I've had to reach out to you and wait for these responses, and these responses have been pathetic. I feel like I'm talking to an 8-year-old. So, when Rob Tech said he really liked the Chewy unit, yeah, you and I should talk about Chewy. I cannot recommend the brand Chewy. I find their support abysmal and pathetic, and I don't like the deception they prey upon the public. That doesn't mean all their products are bad, but I'll tell you what, that little Lark box, what is it? Go over to Newegg. Hello, there it is. Yeah, that really upsets me because they lie to people. It's intentionally deceitful. Because they're in China, there's not much, the FTC is going to do about it. If you reach out and put your money and skirt around the FTC and the United States government, and you get something that burns your house down or rips you off, there's no recourse for you. But hey, think of the money you saved, okay? Chewy. It's called a Lark box. Maybe that's why it's called a Lark box. They're having a lark. Where is it? So this super tiny computer, why did the price go up? This is going to put me in a rage. We would like to sell you this really small mini PC that has 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of ROM, even though that's not ROM, it's likely eMMC memory. And it's a 4-year-old Intel J4125 processor that's obsolete, but we're putting Windows 10 on it. And this $95 computer, we're going to offer you for $297. This is a $95 computer all day, every day. It's not worth a penny more. If they asked for $100, I'd look the other way, but this is offensive. This is offensive. But at least they put Windows 10 on it, okay? Oh my God. 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of eMMC is you're going to be there. Better pack a lunch because you're going to be a while. Oh, here's a more affordable $245. Oh, look, it's still a 4-year-old J4115 processor with Windows 10. Oh, at least they're honest and say it's eMMC. Oh, yeah, that's what you want. Can I have the smallest amount of the slowest type of storage possible? Sure. But look, Linux. Oh, well, you pay extra for Linux. Everybody knows if you want Linux, you got to pay extra. What are they thinking? They're terrible. They're disgusting. Their business acumen is to take, screw, go to the bank. That's how they work. I don't think they're going to be around very long. They're a horrible, horrible company, in my opinion. And the machine I bought, I don't even see on there anymore, which is way better than those. and sold for $124, I think it was. Way better than that. I've got the review here on the channel. This is the box it came in. Oh, it's a Larkbox Pro. Let's see if we can find that. Maybe that's just my search. It's Pro. Larkbox Pro. Yeah, that's the J processor. They want $297 for these crazy crackers. Okay, eBay's got it for $123. Look, if it was eBay selling it or AliExpress, I get it. But I want you to know, people are very happy to screw you. Complete strangers will be happy to turn you into their enemy, even though all you wanted to do was give them some money. They want to take your money and then kick you right in the nuts. But you volunteered for it. Look, the same computer, $123.49, $129, $129, $129. Where can we find the jackass? Find the jackass. Oh, I think I found the jackass. $338. This is your jackass. Congratulations. What have you won? You've won a swift kick in the nuts. Larkbox Pro, $100 used. Yeah, I get why somebody's selling this brand new machine used. Larkbox Pro 4K mini PC. Okay, this is likely the one I purchased from Newegg, which is now available on eBay. Windows 11, J4125. Once again, I mean, I'm guessing 4 years, but when did that chip come out? Exactly 4 years ago. Oh, man, I'm good. Been in this industry a long time, and I still can remember crap like that. Would you like to buy a 4-year-old processor with Windows 11 forced onto it, even though it's not Windows 11 compatible? Look how cheap it is. Think of the money you'll save. So, what do I think of Chewy? What do you think I think of Chewy? It's disgusting. Unprofessional, childish, mature, unsustainable, and karma will get them. Please do not give Chewy your money unless you enjoy being kicked in the nuts, in which case, please take my place in line. You're going to pay $338 for what is essentially a 4-year-old computer. You're going to have the patience of a saint waiting for this thing to boot. You got Windows updates to do? I hope you have other things to do that you can do while you're waiting for the Windows updates for the next 8 hours. And then when Windows stops offering updates to Windows 11 computers that aren't compatible, that Microsoft has promised they're going to do, you're not going to get updates for this anymore. Now, this little virus box is going to steal your identity and infect all your neighbors and all the computers on your network. But think of the money you saved. Because really, that's the important part. It's crap. You want to talk about e-waste? This is the biggest pile of junk available for sale on Newegg. As far as I can tell, it doesn't get any lower than this. As far as I can tell, this isn't the bottom of the barrel. This is under the barrel. Let's keep it there. Look, that probably didn't even break it. It's like a cockroach. It'll probably live forever. It's not even a doorstop. It's not heavy enough. It won't hold anything open. It's a useless piece of plastic. John says, can you show the coaster under your Coke? Oh, this coaster? My sister has coasters available at careyholzman.com, and everything on careyholzman.com ships worldwide. If you go to careyholzman.com, let's go over there and take a look. I haven't been over there in a while. What do we have? We have me in a dumpster holding a diamond that I found, and the internet is the dumpster, and I found a diamond. Because that's the internet right there in a nutshell. What has she got? Inspired by case badges. They ship anywhere in the world. Powers in your hands. Mouse pad screen cleaner. Are those available? I thought they were out of stock. Yeah, they are. She's ordered some new ones. I don't know when she's getting them, though. Should be any time, I think. Watch the site for updates. Pop socket. Those aren't selling very well. What else? These are paper. These are just cardboard coasters. You get a bunch of them. Well, I guess you get 4 in an envelope shipped worldwide. They're just cardboard, thick cardboard coasters for 15 bucks. And then we've got some Go Faster stickers here. Is that it? Hopefully we'll have some more products to add. We're kind of expanding on this a little bit because it's been stagnating. And at least anything on this site we can ship worldwide. And I don't do any of the work. My sister does all the work. She's going to procure the products, or even in some cases create the products. She'll handle the payment processing, and she'll handle the shipping, and she'll keep all the money too. So it works out good for her. Okay, I'm one guy. I just can't do it all. Appreciate her help. And we should have some Zippo lighters up there, limited edition. We'll ship worldwide. Obviously, we can't ship them loaded. So we might have to make a video on how you prepare your Zippo later with the fuse will be in it, but you'll have to set up your flint. And it should have the rayon or the cotton already packed, but you will have to add the fuel. And then you should be able to strike it and have it light, and it'll last longer than you will. So we'll have probably about a dozen of those available, I think. And many of them will be one of a kinds. My sister will make them by hand, and so no two will really be identical. Not exactly. What that's worth, I'm going to let her decide. Just trying to offer something different, something useful that you don't typically see on other YouTube channels just going for the money grab. You know, it just disgusts me. Douglas Burchell said, my wife saw your keyboard and now she wants one. She'll have it this weekend. It's expensive. It's not very comfortable, but it looks good. The mouse is a pain in the rear. So this is all about looks. I don't really like it. The only reason I kept it is Camera Girl told me to keep it. I was going to send it back. The keyboard is better than the mouse, but the keyboard keeps disconnecting and it drives me crazy. It's to save the battery, you know. It's Bluetooth. I wish it wasn't Bluetooth. I wish it was wireless. Like the mouse can be either one. I've switched the mouse. That's why there's 2 plugs over here. There's one for the keyboard and one for the mouse because this system does not have built-in Bluetooth. So I had to add a Bluetooth dongle and a wireless dongle. And it looks great. It's all about the looks. Wish I had something better to say. But hey, if you ordered it from Amazon and you don't like it, you just send it back. It's expensive. Michael Mariello says, thank you for another unique episode. Hey, right on. Thank you for joining us. Jim KJ Andrews, he likes his Cinda wireless keyboards. I have one white and one black. Yeah, those are good. Those are the little ones you see me using when I'm testing stuff. I have used the heck out of those, and they've been very, very robust. Very simple to use. Lawn Dog says, by the way, Carey, the logo on the coaster and some of your other products is well designed. Hats off to the designer. Great creativity. Oh, that's all my sister. That's her creativity. 100% her. I had nothing to do with it. Douglas Burchell says, hey, the box that Camry came in is worth more. It's more useful. Probably have a longer lifespan of usable life. It can even be reused again and again and again. Ship other packages, save the earth, keep things out of the landfill. Garfield Rupe contributes $3. Hey, thank you, Garfield. Okay, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's video. I want to thank the folks over at AceMagician for putting up with me, quite frankly. I give these reviews. I am dead honest about it. I don't have any cheerleading or down browbeating to do. I just want to be honest and give you an honest opinion that makes it neither good nor bad. Like the Chewy is bad, okay? In my opinion, it's bad. These AceMagician, in fact, every one of these mini PCs, with that exception, they're not good or bad. It's just a question of whether or not it's something you like. You go down that long cereal aisle at the grocery store, there's no bad cereal there. Some of you are like, oh, yeah, there is. No. That thing you just rolled your eyes and went, oh, yeah, there is, was somebody's favorite. Somebody buys that regularly and loves it. And they think, you must be a complete moron. And you think, you must be a complete moron. And welcome to the world. That's the beauty of individualism, and I'm all for it. I'm not exactly a typical guy, and I'm quite proud of that. I don't want to be a sheep. I don't want to be like everybody else, because that, to me, is a low bar. It's insulting. So that's just my personality. It's just how I came out. It's what my parents told me. I just came out that way. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so important to me. It's just really, really important to me that I march to the beat of my own drummer. And I have great respect to other people who do that as well. And they don't need to look to others to define themselves. Look inside to define yourself. Don't look to anybody else. That's my opinion. So all I'm trying to do is keep it honest and make sure that you understand, we're not here telling you this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm not selling you a Ginsu knife and chopping it through cans and doing all this outrageous nonsense salesmanship. I don't participate in that. If I am genuinely enthusiastic about a product, so it kind of comes across as salesman-y, it's just a natural behavior of actually liking it. But just because I like it doesn't mean you're going to like it at all. It may not fit in your budget, it may not fit in your needs, and it may not be useful in how you use a computer. So keep that in mind for anybody you watch on YouTube or any review you read. Some people are just writing reviews and making videos for the views. They will have outrageous titles and outrageous thumbnails because that's what gets the click, and the click gets you the, what does YouTube pay per view? 0.18 of a penny. I used to say it was a quarter of a penny. It's gone down. It's now less than a fifth. We could be generous and we could say a fifth of a penny, but that's actually 0.002 more than YouTube actually pays 0.0018 of a penny on average per view. That's what your view is worth to a content creator. So for a content creator to generate any amount of income, you got to do something outrageous. You got to be crazy. You got to crash a plane and film it, make it look like an accident, and maybe go to jail. You got to tell your friend to shoot you through this. I'm going to hold up this thick book, and you shoot this book with a .50 caliber from 10 feet away, and let's film it. We're going to get great views. And then the bullet goes through the book and kills that person because they wanted the views. These stories that I'm telling you are all real, and you can Google them. People are losing their lives. There's a guy that does mukbang videos where he gorges himself on food over and over and over. And when he first started, he was this skinny little guy. He's not going to be on this earth very long. No, he's going to die very young. His heart's going to give out. He's going to have congestive heart failure. It's coming, and it's sad to watch somebody slowly kill themselves in exchange for views. And, you can't say anything bad about it. You can't body shame, and you can't discuss somebody's health. That's just inappropriate in today's culture and society. It's so wrong that this person is self-destructing and will die so young. A beautiful person, just ruined by YouTube. And they're not breaking any laws. Maybe they should have the freedom to kill themselves on a video, I guess. If it's violent, YouTube won't show it. But if it's a slow self-destruction through unhealthy eating on an outrageous amount of the sheer amount of food they're eating, how often they're doing it, I don't know how that's any different from those terrorist videos they take down. But As long as he keeps getting the views, he's getting the money. If he's getting the money, he's going to keep doing the same thing until he can't do it anymore. And I don't know what good the money does, but I guess he could. Maybe his attitude is, well, at least I had a good 28 years or something, you know? I'm sure there's some kind of justification in there, but makes me super sad that the world has evolved into look at me for money. I hope if you're watching me for the content, not for my gorgeous, outstanding Adonis-like body and looks. You got no worries there, Carey. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the super chat contributions. Thank to our good friend Buster. I didn't see Buster today. I got some work to do. I better get back to it. I'll see you all again tomorrow, 1 o'clock. I'll be reviewing the TrigKey S11, another little mini PC. I got a bunch of these to get through. Next week, probably we'll do anything but mini PCs. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what arrives from AliExpress the rest of the week. Gonna have something good in there that I want to do. I'll see you all very soon. Until next time, bye for now.